And how about residential in the Santa Barbara area?
They, because it wouldn't be considered a solar energy, they would have to come into us for a specific loan. And the loan would be collateralized by a home, a savings, or a CD. That's to something to that collateral like that. So we don't have what we call a solar loan program.
Gotcha.
Because we haven't gone through all of the state laws and the federal laws, and we have to jump through all the hoops in order to offer that.
But to your knowledge, anybody coming in to get a second loan and you've worked with them?
For solar?
For solar?
No.
Not really.
Our economy, just to go, it is still weak as far as people coming in.
Okay.
We have had refinances.
Okay.
Some people have finally had to come in and do that, and that's because they've waited to do some work on their home or that type of thing, or looking for the lower interest rate, and they have their backup information in order to know that they qualify for it now because they have the tax returns and the pieces of paper they need to do that. So we're seeing that, the refinancing of their homes, and we've seen people using it to fix their homes, but by far we don't see that many homeowner equity lines of credit applications like we were seeing before. And people are just cautious because I'm still getting people coming in saying 20 years or 30 years on a job and I was laid off.
Right.
Or I was fired. Or the business owners, because we have a lot of sole proprietorships in the Santa Barbara area. That means they own their own businesses. And some of those businesses have just held on with their equity lines of credit. They literally live off of those lines of credit for the last few years. And now, they have to hold on a little longer to try to see if they can keep their business afloat or go in somewhere else and go get salary, get a job, or just move out of the state and find something else. So I'm not seeing the pickup as everybody else is seeing as far as them coming in, more loans or lines of credit being asked for.
Tough economy. It really is. Can you give us a little bit of an idea of what's going on with the charge station that was put into your location?
Yeah, we're not seeing as many people. I'm seeing about the same number of people coming in, and that might be because we're not getting as much advertisement. So what I did was I sent to the county, the one where it says bike to work and all like that. Now let's face it, I'm 60 years old, I work in carpinteria, I'm not going to bike from carpinteria to Goleta every day. So that's just not realistic. Or take the bus, because if I'm coming to a meeting like this, then I'm going to need my car. So realistic, a lot of things can help people, but all of it's not the same for everybody. So I asked them, would they mind putting it on their website that our bank has a charge station there, and right now it's free. It's free of charge.
Right.
And that should be offered as an alternative for people, going electric, because it is helping them. It is helping.
Now, I saw on the local Facebook plug-in that they have upgraded that charge station so that a regular Chevy Volt or Nissan Leaf can actually charge there too. Did they expand it to multiple charge or just still one charge station?
Still one charge.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how long the charge is. All I see is the gentleman comes out and he came and said, before they changed the initial of the cars that were on there, he came in to thank me. He said he plugged it in and he went to lunch, and when he came back it was ready. So he was on his way to Los Angeles. So we're the last link in between him and Los Angeles, wherever that is, on there that they can charge.
So with you driving back and forth from Carpinteria, you're actually now starting to think a little more seriously about the possibility of doing something with all that?
I just got my car last year, my Ford Edge, so I'm still looking at the numbers that you guys gave me to see the feasibility of it working for me, because yes, it would, and it might be something that our bank can look at in order to maybe either have a bank card that's charged electric for me to drive once I get to work. If I take the bus, then I would have that card to go around in the area and use. So those are some of the things that we're thinking at a local level to find out how we can help out too.
And of course, on the side it will say Rabobank electric car recharge.
Yeah, recharge. A little sign card on there going down the street, yes. I just hope it's not a golf cart.
Right.
I have to drive it. But
Okay.
I'm really proud of our bank because we had stepped up to the plate way before this time at our international level by building a building and doing these things somewhere else, so they've done it. But as I said, because the laws of the land, the government, and the state are so stringent, you have to know where you can step to make sure you're not breaking any of those laws.
Right.
And before I think a bank can get into it, they have to make sure that they're in it. So the easiest way to do it is, until they get a solar, is use the equity in your home, especially if you can get the return that the analysis will show you that can be done on some of those lines, depending on what you're using the money for and how long it's going to take you to return,
Right.
to repay the line of credit. And as I said, since it's out there for 30 years, we do have a payback period of time for it. So,
Right.
any other questions? Well, I thank you for allowing me to kind of change my
Okay.
Are you processing your house maybe for solar?
I'm looking into that, I'm researching that, and as I tell everybody, being a banker, is that there are websites you need to go on, check if they have a business license, check the company out, check out the numbers for yourself. If you don't know, ask, always ask before you get into it, because you want to know that you're doing the right thing, and especially now because every dollar that you save does help you out because of this economy. So if you can save $1, it's fine. But you do need to do your own due diligence also, and that's one
So
way.
Ida, you're leaving, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to use your example, and I'm going to show them how to zero that out.
Okay,
Okay,
that's fine.
and we're going to be driving business too. Yes. Thank you very much
Yes.
for being here and
Okay.
working with us. We went to about 8 different banks in town. She's the one person
You
that
dragged me out of my bed. What are you talking about?
actually is listening and, working with us and seeing what's possible. So I just want to thank you very much for doing this. Now, before we move on here and I get the next person up, I just want to go through one thing real quick on the Personal Power Project website, and that is the loan scenario that she's been talking about for a second loan. If you go to products and you go to financing, I want to give you a quick little example of how this looks with a second loan, because there's a lot of ways that you can cut your energy expenses. Excuse me. So here's an example pretty close to some of what I'm looking at financially, and that is an electric bill of $3,000 a year at about $250 a month. Anybody in here have an electric bill that's $100 a month or more? Okay, 150? So we're getting there. Propane. I've got propane. I live up on 7 acres in Santa Barbara, so I've got a big propane bill. We're looking at about $3,000 there per year, $250 a month. Gas for a car. Does anybody in here spend more than $50 a week on gas?
Just recently.
Okay.
I bought myself a bicycle.
Okay, so that's not too unlikely. At $50 a month, $750 a month, or excuse me, $250 a month. You can kind of factor that out and see. $50 or a little bit more per month for gasoline is going to get you up to $3,000 a year. Okay, so you're looking at about $9,000 worth of energy expenses. If you were to go out and get a second loan from Rabobank or someplace else, $50,000, it's going to cost you about $245 per month for that loan, approximately. If you went out and got solar equipment and the different type of energy equipment to offset that, spent $20,000 on solar after incentives, $20,000 on an electric car like a Nissan Leaf after incentive. It's a $30,000 car. After the incentives, it's about $20,000, brand new. $10,000 investment on far infrared heating. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. LED lighting, remote controls. So you're looking at $245 per month, $500 saved per month. That $500 is about $6,000 a year. In 10 years, you're looking at a $60,000 savings. $60,000. Okay, so if you say, well, I don't think it's quite here yet, I'm just not going to do anything. What's going to happen in 10 years with $9,000? You're going to be $90,000 that you paid in 10 years. So if you start looking at, before, a year ago, we didn't have electric cars. A year ago, we didn't have far infrared heating. We can get some major expenses that we can now replace doing some of this technology, and that's going to make a huge difference in your expenses every month, every year. So we're going to get back into this a little bit more, but I'm going to get Dan up because he's got somebody here that has to be